Lee Mack on Absolute Radio.
Yes, good morning, Absolute listeners. This is Lee Mack, standing in for Frank Skinner. I'm here, as ever, with Emily and Gareth. Thanks for having me back. I'm thanking you to, like, you
We didn't really have a choice, to be honest. You were foisted on us.
Yeah, you're a bit like foster children, aren't you? You don't pick your parents, do you? You're given to somebody, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. That's why we have so many abandonment issues.
Yeah.
True, we're like those glamorous foster children you see on the back of the bus. They're the really good-looking ones.
Are they the glamour? Are they the face of foster kids?
Yeah.
Why are they on the back of a bus?
Because they're so good-looking.
What they do? Are they advertising?
Yeah, advertising fostering. I'm not sure they are.
Oh, you mean they're advertising the benefits of being a foster parent? They're not saying...
What bus is this? Were you caught in 1934?
Can anyone look after this one?
Yeah, they're not an actual child on the back of a bus.
Yeah, they're not clinging on, going, please look after me. This is how I fill the day.
Please
go around
me
the
off
back of
this
buses. Yeah.
So what have you been doing, Lee?
Well, you said that in a slightly accusatory tone.
Well, you didn't turn up to
What
my
are you
party.
doing with that bag with blood coming out of it? I didn't come to your party last week. Happy birthday for last week.
No, thank you, but you did send me a nice text.
I did. I said, to whom it may concern, I will not be able to come to the thing you've invited me to. It's a generic thing I send around at the moment. Yeah. Was it good? Did you have fun?
It was good.
I know it's not polite to ask a lady her age, but if it was a special occasion, I'm assuming it was a round figure, was it?
How dare you?
I'm not saying you've got a round figure. I mean the age was around me.
Well, I have. It was a nice evening, but it was
Avoided
stressful.
that question very well.
I do avoid it. We can't discuss my
Well, it's
age
a
on
round
this
figure.
show.
We can say it's a round figure.
No, you can't say that.
I think it's. I'm not risking it by saying you're not 10 or 20, am I? Those round figures. You don't celebrate the 10th, do you?
I'm not talking
Like you
about
do with all the other ones ending 0.
I think you do,
Because when you do your 20th, your 30th,
Double
and your
figures.
40th, and your 50th are big birthdays, but your 10th seems to just pass by.
Oh, I had a big party for that.
double figures.
In fact, why do you miss out the 20th and go straight to the 21st? What's all that about?
Anyway, tell us what you've
It's
been
like
up
a
to.
really bad, pathetic version of Jerry Seinfeld, there.
Didn't you go
What's
on
all that
holiday?
about with you missing your 21st?
That's a terrible bit of observational comedy.
So, yes.
Tell me about your holiday.
Well, I went camping this week. Okay. Well, not camper vanning.
I did hear about this. I was a bit appalled, but anyway.
I'm a bit of an earth father. Can you say
Oh,
that? Is that a
God.
phrase? I've invented a phrase, earth father.
You
I'm
can't
an
say
earth
that
father.
just because your kids are dirty all the time.
And I decided I wanted to get away from it all, so I went and I decided I wanted to book a camper van. You know, the old Volkswagen camper van type things. So I searched online. This to me is perfect. I'm going to promote this business. This is how good they were. It was a couple in Dorset, and they got this van, and it was called V-Dub Camper Hire. Right? That's the name of the. I know you're not supposed to plug people on the radio, but they were brilliant because what I did was I picked this van up. I turn up in this field. It's like 11 o'clock at night.
Oh, you had me at field.
Well, you say that when blokes are chatting you up, don't you? And I know this field, love. You had me at field. And I went there, no food in the local pub. They stopped serving food at 8. As far as I'm concerned, that's a criminal offence.
That was nice for the children, dragging them to the pub.
No, it's on my own.
Oh, OK. On your own? Some serial killer going on holiday on your own?
With my friends. I didn't go on my own to the middle of a field, did I? I'm not a lunatic, right? But there's pubs stop serving food at 8 o'clock. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I've never understood the mentality of why it either makes money to sell food or it doesn't make money. If it makes money, keep doing it. You're a business. You don't go into a shoe shop and go, we're not selling shoes, it's after 4 o'clock, do you? You either do something for business or you don't, and they'd stop serving food. So I turn up at the field, 11 o'clock at night, I've got no food. I look inside the fridge of the camper van.
Yeah.
The couple have only provided me with eggs, bacon, bread, beer.
Are they swingers
Smarties.
or something?
No, why'd I have to be swingers?
Oh, I don't know. They were
Is that what
trying
you
very
think?
hard to please you.
Well, they didn't come with me. That would have been odd. That would have been very odd, wouldn't it? If I said, I looked in the fridge and they were in there. That would have been very, very, very strange. But, so we're talking about, and the reason I mention this is because today we're going to talk about something else I'm doing. As a result of this, I really like the idea. I told my wife, let's go camping. I loved it. She said she's not a massive fan of camping. So we're doing this thing where you do glamorous camping, which I believe is called glamping. And that is one of the subjects we're talking about this morning.
Glamorous camping.
You don't understand the concept of
Well, of
glamorous.
course I don't, because there is no such thing. It's an oxymoron.
That's
More of that later.
More of that later.
Absolute Radio.
Hello, yes, Lee Mack here, still on Absolute Radio. A bit confused, I thought we were going into an advert, and then we didn't go into an advert.
Can I just say, I just read out...
Can you just do an advert? And then maybe my mind is now tuned into advert, and I can't now That's why my brain works. If my brain's thinking advert, no one
You want
does
me to do an advert?
Well, I'm a bit like that.
I'm waiting on 0898 for your call.
Oh, wait a minute. No, don't plug your phone numbers on here.
I thought I recognised that voice.
You know what Lee said during that break? I said, we've had an email in from a bloke. And you went, a bloke, forget it.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah.
I'm the... I'm the woman magnet on this show. That's why I'm here for. I'm to attract a more female listenership. But that's why I've been brought in.
I know you're not.
They're trying to bring up the demographic of the women, and they brought what more do you want than a nice, soft northern tone to do that.
So if there's any women listening,
Yeah, can you imagine that?
into Lee
Imagine if
now.
that was the link. Hi, this is Lee Mack, and if there's any women listening, you listen in.
8, 12, 15.
Now we're talking about before that. We're talking about
Camping.
glamping. Yeah, glamping.
Glamping.
Which before we even get onto the subject, I
Yeah.
hate that. You know, when you say to people, I've been saying to people, we're going camping, but it's in a really posh tent, and they go, oh, yes, glamping. And about 5 people have said it to me. I'm like, that's a word that now exists, and we must all say it.
Well, yeah, get with it, Grandad. The language is changing. That's called a portmanteau. Like Brangelina. That's
Portmanteau.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
It's based on a piece of luggage with 2 compartments in it.
So if you put 2 words together,
It's a portmanteau.
like 2 bits of old leathery luggage.
That's one of my baby
Right.
names, portmanteau.
Is
That's what
it?
I'm going to call a child.
Sounds a bit like a man with gout portmanteau.
Very good.
Thank you.
You're bringing up the level of this show, Gareth. I like that.
I'm trying.
You really are.
Trying.
There's me trying to attract the women with my northern charm, and you're attracting the men. That's great. So,
Thank you.
so yes, glamorous camping, right?
Yeah.
Now, I like this idea, but you don't, do you?
I don't like any idea of camping. I last went camping in 1981, and I rang my mother and I said, I will never do that again. I'm not sleeping on a rough surface again. And I haven't since.
You're not sleeping on a rough surface.
Yeah.
What do you mean a rough surface? Surely it was a nylon fly sheet.
Gareth's completely lost it now. Nylon fly sheet? No, it was like one of those sleeping bag nylon things. Yeah, it was horrible.
You
It was on the ground. You
Sound
don't
any
have
more like a princess if you tried. I'm not sleeping on a rough surface again. Perhaps there was a tiny little pee under those 8 mattresses that ruined your night's sleep.
I don't know. I've met some of the men you've been out with. Some rough surfaces there.
Yeah.
Lee, you should try yurting if you fancy poshish camping. We stay in Mongolian yurts, which are amazing inside in a field in Petersfield. It was great, Dino.
I'd better point out Gareth reading an email. Otherwise, you just sound like a lunatic, because you suddenly told me some information I didn't ask for, and you put on a strange voice. Lee, you should try yurting. I like to go yurting with my wife, is what I like to do. Where did that come from?
Yeah, we read our emails
Oh, this-
sometimes on this show.
Yurting? What's yurting? Oh, yurting's the plastic. What are they?
Like,
No,
it's
that's
like a
those
posh
big.
tent.
That's glamping essentially.
think
You have a
that's what
wood burning stove in there, and you have like a posh tent.
Yurt.
But if you don't like camping, then glamping's for you, isn't it? Because you're not sleeping on the rough
No,
surfaces.
if you don't like camping, the Hilton Hotel is for me. I think you'll find.
Well, compromise. Set up a tent in room
I
24
don't stay.
of the Hilton Hotel.
I don't stay anywhere where I have to go to the toilet in a bucket and wake up with wolves. That's not what I do.
You wouldn't want to come around my house. You don't have to go to the toilet in a bucket. That's not the idea.
Okay, in a bush, you're spoiling us.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're in a tent,
Yeah.
right, then why wouldn't you just get out and go in the bush? Why would you? If you find that unsavoury, surely it's more unsavoury to go, I'm not going in the bush, I'm not an animal, give me that bucket.
Basically, I want a proper toilet. Is that too much to ask when I go on a holiday? And I'm just saying, that wife of yours is actually quite nice looking. You're punching above your weight as it is. So I would say, start booking some nice...
Oh, me? I thought you were talking to
first-class
Gareth.
Start booking a nice holiday.
She's had some great holidays. Took her to Butlins last week.
Absolute Radio.
We were talking about camping before, weren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've got some texts about camping.
Not glamping.
Glamping.
That's a completely different subject.
Oh, people have got
Is
the wrong
there-
end of the stick.
Is that what glamping is? Glamorous clamping? You come back and it's got diamond studs on the clamp.
What do our punters say?
And they say, yes, I do glamping. We've got 2 tents, an Outwell Norfolk Lake and an Outwell Oklahoma. The small one has a fridge and cookers, while the big one is for sleeping, etc.
I've never heard anyone say the phrase 2 tents, apart from that old joke about the bloke who goes to the doctor and says, I feel like a wigwam and a teepee, and he says, you're 2 tents. I've never actually heard it said in reality.
Well, I've never heard that joke, which I was quite relieved about up until now.
You've never heard that
I
joke?
hate jokes.
What do you mean you hate?
And we've got another text. Sorry.
Sorry, Gareth, continue.
Hi, I've just been very unglamorous camping with a group of 120 kids. We had storms and rain every day. Every item of clothing is wet.
Well, that's the point of camping, though, isn't it? You've got to get wet.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
You're not having it at all, are you?
No, of course I'm not having it.
Is there not one bit of you that can see the benefits of waking up at 6:30 in the morning to the sound of birds tweeting and the smell of cows?
No, because I want fresh
That's not.
towels.
There was going to be another word that I'm not allowed to say. I wasn't just one of these weird people that can't finish a sentence with the correct lilt. And the smell of cows.
I want MTV. I want fresh towels.
Well, we've had
fresh towels.
I want a man polishing my sunglasses on an hourly basis.
Do you get that in hotels?
Yeah.
What kind of hotel do you go to where people polish
Very
your
nice
sunglasses?
ones. Very nice
Do you?
ones. Yeah.
We've had a text in from Nick in Detroit, and he says, "Hello, Emily.
Oh, hi, Nick.
If you were to go camping with a bow, where you zip your sleeping bags together and get on that trail."
But you mean a bow as in a man?
well, like a
I thought you
boyfriend.
meant like
Not like an
bow and arrow.
not an archery holiday.
Oh,
No.
right. You can get a double. You can zip the zip. Of course, you can open them up
Yeah,
and zip.
and you are more than likely change your mind about clamping and get to really like it. I think he's coming on to you, Em.
I think he sounds a bit odd, this man. To be honest with you,
And
Oh,
don't-
I'm sure he's very nice.
And don't
Might be
go
very nice. You can be odd and nice, can't you?
I can't alienate potentials.
and don't go bathroom in a bucket. Just squat behind a tree.
Oh my god!
I take it you're not saying he's a potential. This one. Or is this the same bloke?
He lost me at squats.
Yeah,
I'm
is it the
afraid.
same man from Detroit?
Yeah.
He started off so well. Hey, if you came to mine, I'd zip my bags. He'd be like the bad person on Blind Date that they had to keep editing out. If you came camping with me, we'd zip our bags together, and you could have a great night before I gave you my bucket to squat in. Cut! Can we go again, please, with number 2? So what, Gareth? You've been camping?
Yeah.
Yes. What?
Sorry, I'm giggling.
Tell us about.
I've been I went camping once, and I made a friend on the camp. I went with my family.
Oh,
made
congrats, well done.
And what was your you met a new friend, did you?
Yeah, you're gonna have to. My friend was called Robin.
Right.
He was.
It was a bird.
He was from Birmingham.
Right.
It was a bird, and and in the middle of the night, he was
Is
convinced.
this an unsavoury story?
No.
Okay.
It doesn't involve
Yeah.
squatting.
You do know this is a radio station. I'm not a counsellor. Yeah. Do you want to use a doll to show me where he? Okay, carry on. I tell you what. Let's come back to this story. Gareth's a bit traumatised by it. We'll find out exactly what Robin did to Gareth after this by Adele.
Lee Mack on Absolute Radio.
So you were camping with Robin. This is
With Robin, my friend Robin, who's from Birmingham, and in the middle of the night, he was convinced that an earwig had crawled into his ear
right because of the name of the insect,
because of I
or
think he thought
his wig.
that's
It might have crawled into his
And
wig.
I think he felt like something had crawled into his ear. He thought it was an earwig. And so we had to get my parents to come and shine
What?
a torch down his ear
What
hole.
sort of a wimp was he?
But an earwig's quite a fair size. If an earwig crawled in your
Well, I
ear, there would be
think
no doubt. You
I
wouldn't go, I
there's
think there's an earwig in my ear.
I think there's an earwig in my ear.
Where was he
I think
from?
An earwig crawled into
He
my
sounds
ear.
like an awful
Did you
friend.
go camping with a young John Lennon?
Yeah, so that's that story.
So there was an
He
earwig,
thought-
an earwig went in his ear, and your parents
Yeah.
came in with a torch,
Yeah.
shined the torch in his
and,
ear.
Yeah,
No
didn't
earwig?
find No earwig.
No, is that where the name earwig comes from? Is it
I think
because
it predates that.
is it anything to do with
event.
ears, earwigs? There'll be a reason why they're called
You
earwigs.
always look at me like I'm Wikipedia. I don't know.
That is not the look I'm giving you. I promise you.
Anyway, this week I had a gig, right? We were going to talk about overhearing people.
Yes.
And I had a gig where I was on first, and then I sat in the audience to watch the second person.
For
who
new
was on.
listeners to Absolute Radio, we should point out Gareth is a stand-up comedian, as opposed
Yeah,
to people are
should be
now
obvious.
thinking, what kind of performer are you? They might think you're a drag act or a
Yeah,
you know,
Chippendale.
or a tumbler, as they call them in India. That's what they call comedians
Yeah.
in India. They call them
Tumbler,
tumblers.
like a small cup.
Yeah, they call them tumblers. I like the idea that we all just tumble around. Gareth, yes, what happened at the gig?
Yes, and I
I'm going to point
overheard.
out for the listeners, the gig means show. Gareth is a performer who did a show. Okay, Gareth, continue with the
Pointing
anecdote.
things out
Yes.
for
Okay.
listeners.
And I was sitting in and I heard someone go, "So what do you think?" And the woman went, "Oh, it was all right, better than the first guy." Talking about me.
Were you the first
Yeah,
guy?
I was the first. Guy.
Really?
Oh,
That
Wow.
no. What did you say?
Well, I didn't say anything. I just because she didn't know. I assumed she didn't know I was there. So I thought I could confront her, but I didn't.
You can't
And
confront her. It's only an opinion on art, isn't it?
I just
say art.
disappeared into the night.
But you can't say, but hang on, I'm much better than him. That makes you as bad as her because
Have
you're
you ever overheard people talking
Well,
about you?
do you know what?
Like
I have heard.
that, Lee?
I actually overheard someone talking about me to me. I did a gig,
Right.
a show.
No, you've misunderstood over here.
Oh, sorry, someone was talking to me. Is that different?
That's you got
No,
over
I was.
here,
Someone said, "How
talking
are you?" That's weird, isn't it? Talking about me to me. That's odd. I said, "Why don't you say it to my face?"
Here we are.
No, I was in a dressing room, honestly, and I was about to go on. I was doing a preview for my tour that I'm currently on, available at leemacklive.com, and I was.
Oh, well, that's cheap.
I was chatting.
Yeah, I thought she was
right.
done it.
This guy came in, and he was on first, right? And and I'd put on this night to
This
try.
is a support act.
Well,
isn't it?
I'd rung up this club owner and I said, I want to do a night, try out the tour, let me go on. So I said, but do us a favour, fill the first half with a couple of acts, you book them. So he turns up, this guy, this American guy who's just arrived in the country, and barges into the dressing room and goes, the money at this gig is terrible, isn't it? I went, oh, is it? He went, yeah, I've been paid X amount of money, it's terrible. You know who's getting all the money, don't you? It'll be that Lee Mack.
Oh, no.
Right? And because I'm very reserved and I hate confrontation,
Didn't he know what you looked like?
I just went along with it. I went, yeah, probably. And he went,
You didn't?
yeah, I did. Because I knew he was on first and he'd have been gone by the time I was on, so he'd never know. And he went, yeah, people like him, they come in and they get all the money and then we get nothing. And I was going, yeah, I know, he's a bit of an idiot. I just went along with it. I started slagging myself off.
Absolute Radio.
The Killers, Smile Like You Mean It, which is an appropriate song, really, because it's talking about your birthday, and you have to do a lot of that, don't you? You have to pretend to smile at your guests when really you're thinking, I wish I was just away from all you people.
Well,
You're
it's
not my
just-
real friends. That's what you said off air.
No, but it is stressful being a hostess. And I'm not the first person to be saying that at 8 a.m. in Soho. I do find it difficult, though, because it's like you just worry about everyone having drinks, everyone talking, and then they come over to you, the people at the bar, and they say, oh, the tab's running low. Do you want to extend it?
The tab.
And you
did a
think-
tab in central
Yeah,
London.
yeah.
You're quite rich, aren't you?
No, I'm not. I just want to be liked.
Don't you do what I do for big occasions?
What?
First drink free, after that pay for it yourself.
Oh, that's classy.
Nuts you can have for free. Sandwiches, or I actually sometimes say, can you, we're having a barbecue, please bring your own meat. That's acceptable, isn't it? It's acceptable to ask people to bring their own meats.
People
See-
turning up with a load of old sausages. How horrible.
I say, to be honest with you, even if I say, that thing if you have a big party, you say, bring some meat and bring some booze.
No, I don't know that thing, because I've never said bring some meat
No, I've
to
not lost my
someone.
roots. I still do that. I'll do that if I'm only having 2 people round for Sunday roast. I'll say,
some
come round,
meat.
we're having a Sunday roast, bring some Brussels sprouts and a pot of gravy. Cook it, though. I'm not boiling it up when I go. I want some
Cook
foil over the
it.
top. I don't want to do anything. All the different guests bring the food, and then I'll get one guest in early to lay the table. And I don't.
Well, I had catering. Gareth came, didn't you, Gareth?
Yes, it was lovely.
Oh, he was a
Sorry.
good guest.
It
He
was
not
very
like
posh. It was a very posh bar. The
Yeah.
barman, when people ordered like a bottle of champagne.
Oh, you were ordering a bottle of champagne? No wonder
No.
it cost me so
Oh,
much. I didn't know that was going on.
No, I watched other people ordering champagne.
Were they?
No, they paid.
Oh, no, they didn't.
I've
Who
never
would have
seen
thought
so much
those?
money that
Who would have
people were
thought
pulling
those
out.
people at your free bar would have ordered the most expensive drink? Who would have thought that? Doesn't happen at my parties. Bring your own bitter.
But the barman was getting the little champagne glasses, and then to cool them, he would fill them up with ice and water, and then cool the glass first,
Oh, that's nice.
and
Yeah,
then put
nice
it
touch.
in. And then the guy answered, "Oh, could I have 3 more glasses?" And so the guy got all the glasses out, started putting water in it, and he's like, "No, I just have the glasses, please."
Oh, who was that
then I thought-
alcoholic friend?
Yeah, they.
So, but you found it stressful?
I just found it a bit stressful. What I didn't find, I did enjoy it though, and I did love my friends, and I loved the
How many-
attention.
how
I
many-
loved
did
the
you?
attention.
Did you do well with
so
presents?
much. I had to pretend not to. They sung Happy Birthday, and I was like, stop it, but I loved it.
Don't stop it!
And I did very well. I had a black bin liner full of presents. I was
you?
dragging through the streets.
Did you
like
do
Dick
that
Whittington.
thing? Did you do that thing where you don't open the presents though because it's too embarrassing?
No,
You take
I
them
did
home and
open them. Do you know why?
in front of the people?
I wanted to see the whites of their eyes when I got those presents. I wanted to see who'd got me what.
Really, that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
What was your worst present?
Oh, I couldn't possibly say.
Well, you told me off air. You said it was from.
What was the best one?
I
what was
couldn't
the-
possibly say.
All right, what was the
What
medium
was the
one?
medium?
Oh, I did get a really good one from Frank's girlfriend, Kathy.
Yeah.
She did cards for me. And
She did what?
She did cards for me, and she drew. It was all about aspects of my life on all these little cards for every year that I
Like
did.
flashcards.
You got a homemade card.
No,
Where was
make
the
it
bottle
herself?
of champagne and the perfume? You don't strike me as the kind of girl that's going to get a piece of paper with some hand drawing on it. You go, that's my favourite present.
No, but it was good.
Was it nice?
It was good. It was really good. Yeah.
That's better, actually. I think that you should make people make you homemade presents because it's more effort involved. Don't you think?
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolute Radio.
Oh, I wanted to talk about rom-coms, Lee.
Yes. Are you a rom-com fan?
Well, I do
That in
like...
itself, I don't like. The phrase. Rom-com.
Well, you don't like
It's like
rom-com?
glamping, isn't it?
Oh, it's a portmanteau word.
Well, it is.
It
and
is,
it's,
isn't it?
why has that been allowed to happen? Rom-com.
But apparently, rom-coms, there's an article in the paper saying that they can ruin people's love lives.
Why is that?
Because people watch rom-coms and they see people like, Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan and all that kind of stuff, and their own love lives are found wanting because they can't possibly match up to these expectations.
Well, I think that's a good point because they tend to be, what they do is they'll get a couple together and they'll give them a problem, to try and solve, and they're trying to show the gritty side to relationships and then make it into a rom-com. So they'll have, but it's not real problems, is it? The man and the woman will wake up in bed and the man will say, I want to buy a dog. And Jennifer Aniston, because she's in all of them, will go, but I want a cat. And comedy ensues and the marriage almost breaks up, but they get together and they become better people for it. But that's not the reality. If it was a real
That is in my relationship.
No, the real relationship problem was they'd wake up and one of them would have wet the bed. And then they have
Oh my
to...
God, you're
For
all
example,
right.
how do you know it's not my wife that's wetting the bed? Very sexist of you. So or you've done something very unsavoury, and it needs to be discussed. And these things aren't addressed by Jennifer Aniston.
I like that there's something more unsavoury than wetting the bed. I'm so glad I'm not married to you.
Well, there's a lot more things that I think wetting the bed is a very. In the old days, in the 1940s,
It's quite romantic.
It was a way of chatting up a woman,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Maybe. Well, it could have been.
What I don't like about rom-coms is that always at the start the woman is with a very nice man.
Yes.
Who's very sensible, got quite a bit of money, and then she meets someone she really hates.
Oh, they always hate them.
yeah.
They always hate them.
And she finds really irritating.
And then they're
against everything she believes in.
Yeah.
And she ends up going out.
She ends up going
My
out with that
worst
person.
example of that actually is Titanic. She's got that lovely boyfriend.
Would you call that a rom-com?
Well, listen, just hear me out.
You may have missed the point to that film.
She's got a lovely boyfriend.
Yeah.
She's in first class. And then she starts hanging out with some loser from Coach, going down into some horrible basement where they have to do awful dancing in some smoky room.
And she could have been
stayed with him.
top floor with
She would have been saved.
with the rich bloke.
Yeah, that's
was he
like-
saved, the man that she was?
Oh, yeah, of course he was. He was on that lifeboat.
Oh, yeah, she should have, didn't she?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sweet Home Alabama's like that as well.
You
She's
seem
got
to
a
have
lovely
watched quite a
rich
lot
man.
of them,
I have.
Gareth.
Do you like your
I've
rom-coms,
got a lot-
Gareth? Are you a
Well,
rom-com fan?
Not really. I have to just watch them with
With your boyfriend?
Laura.
Yeah.
Yes, but she's with a nice rich man, and then she goes off with a man who makes sculptures out of lightning or something.
What, Laura?
Aren't they?
No, the man in
The man
Sweet
in-
Home
yeah,
Alabama.
yeah.
But they do always have. But there's such cliches as well. And there's always an angry father.
And also, there's usually a giant dog. Isn't there?
Yeah,
Big,
yeah,
giant,
they like a
slobby,
dog, yeah.
cute
Thinking
dog.
of Digby.
Who you somehow you're supposed to feel that affection for, but when dogs jump on the bed in films, I just feel like going, just get out the house, you stink. Get out of my, and you can imagine what I'm like. If a dog stinks, and I'm the kind of bloke that wets the bed, imagine how smelly that dog is.
Lee Mack on Absolute Radio.
Lee Mack standing in. I was going to say standing in Frank Skinner. Lee Mack standing in for Frank Skinner. I'm not standing in Frank Skinner. That would be awful. What's that on my shoe? Oh, it's only Frank Skinner. Lee Mack filling in for Frank, and we're here with Emily and Gareth, and we've been talking about things that you overhear about yourself, and we've had some texts on 8, 12, 15.
We have. We've had someone called Jewel in Hampstead saying, I went out with a guy and we had a row. I pretended to leave the house and hid behind the sofa. He went out to look for me. In the meantime, his parents came into the living room and started slagging me off for what seemed like forever.
And she had to stay hidden.
She said, I stood up, I said hello, and I left.
That's
Surprised
cool.
to say he was dumped. Well, I think that's quite harsh. Why should he
hang
get
on.
dumped?
The parents.
Yeah.
Dump the parents and keep the boyfriend, shouldn't
Well,
they?
exactly.
Yeah, they were like, I hate that girl. She's
Unless
going out
what she
with.
was saying
It's always-
was, he said to me that apparently when they're in bed and all that sort of stuff.
Yes,
But
that's
you
what's
don't talk about that to your
happened.
parents, do you? As if that had happened. Imagine that. Imagine overhearing your boyfriend's parents talking about what you did in bed because he was telling them that. Hey?
That's
There's an image,
unpleasant.
isn't it?
They were probably just like, I hate that girl. She's going out. She's always hiding places.
Yeah, behind
Always
sofas
hiding.
and stuff like that. Maybe they knew she was there and they thought, let's take this opportunity. We can't confront her, so we'll pretend we don't know she's there. She should have
Could
just
be.
said, what she should have done is she should have just stood up and said, oh, has Doctor Who finished? and then walked out. That's what I'd have done. Just got past the moment and move on.
We've had another text in, Lee, which is about, you were saying that you turned up, you expected people to bring sort of pork chops to barbecues and things, and sausages.
Yes.
So someone says, it's a northern thing asking people to bring their own stuff to occasions. I always do, and my mum and dad do as well.
See,
I didn't know that.
Isn't that interesting? The way you said that, like that was a negative. It's a northern thing. It's a northern thing. See, Lee, it's a northern thing.
I just speak as I find.
Well, it's a communal way of eating. You know, you bring food and you all sit round together.
I've never heard of
admittedly,
it.
perhaps I push it too far when you go, no admission without meat. That's probably pushing it too far. Yeah.
But
If
we call it
someone
meet and
turned up
greet.
to my house with a load of old Morrison's bags, they'd be showing the door.
Really?
I don't want food. I don't want your food.
No.
But when
But
someone
you'll have your
comes
presents,
round,
yeah?
Oh, yeah, I'll have my presents.
That would be unacceptable. But you know what I'm going to combine those two things. Next time I come to your party, I'm going to buy you a present of meat, all wrapped up. I say, don't open it till Tuesday. Little surprise for you in there.
but when someone comes round, don't you often say, "Oh, do you want me to bring anything?"
Yeah, yeah. And they always say,
No.
only yourself, and then they laugh uncontrollably,
Yeah.
don't they? And if they don't say that anymore, I've stopped doing it. What I do is I post the meat through the letterbox and run off. Because they didn't say bring yourself, so I assume I'm not invited, but the pork chops are.
Do you know what, Lee? You said about people laughing uncontrollably at things that aren't funny. I hate that when people do that in normal life. Because you know when it's it's my job to make people laugh. You wouldn't know from this show, but it is. Like when I hear people laughing, just laughing, I think, what a waste. Don't just
Do you know
laugh
what
at nothing.
I'll tell you what I find very disturbing. If people are smiling or slightly giggling to themselves in the street.
Yes.
Who are these people that are constantly smiling? You know, if people come towards you and you see them smiling, you think, what have you got to smile about? What are you so
I always
happy
try
about?
I
and
think
smile,
they just
though.
saw Lee Mack in the street.
I always think it makes me look more approachable if I smile. So I'd have a little Mona Lisa smile at all times, I assume.
You're walking around the streets with an inane grin,
Yes.
hoping that someone's going to come up to you and go, by Jove,
Sorry,
madam, you've got an enigmatic smile. What are you doing on Friday night?
No.
Got any meat? Have got to the party?
It's not 1815, so he won't say, by Jove, madam.
Well, I would be put off by a woman. I prefer a woman who walks down the street looking so depressed and miserable that if I go, all right, love, they might just have a little faint smile of hope about them because I've brought a bit of ray of sunshine into their life. We've got Josie Long. Talking of rays of sunshine
like
coming
her.
to people's lives. Little Josie Long. Can I call her Little Josie Long? She's tiny.
Yeah.
She fits in my pocket.
I think she'll be a nice new friend for me.
She will be. She'd be a good friend.
I
for you. I
hope
think
so.
she might change you. I don't mean change you.
You're not
She's
going to
like-
put Josie
She's
Long
not
in your
trying to
pocket
change
again,
you.
are you?
But she would ground Emily because Emily needs grounding. I think Emily's far too aloof for national radio. Join us after this.
Absolute Radio.
Josie Long is here with us. Josie Long is, I was going to say, in the house, because that's what DJ sometimes says. Josie Long's in the house.
No, you
But
sound
that
a bit
just sounds like
tragic.
she's not left home yet. She needs to get here quick. Josie Long, if you're in the house, you're late. Good morning, Josie. How are you? I was just saying, I know how you are. You're not well, are you?
I'm a little bit peaky,
Are you peaky?
but I'm in good spirits.
Well-
I'm fighting it with every inch of my being.
What is up with you? Actually, is it serious? Is it going to bring the tone down?
No, God,
Oh,
no.
right.
It's just like a
I'm
little
thinking of the show,
cold.
not you.
Nice.
Yeah. What's up with you?
I've been telling people I'm fluey, but I really don't think I am.
Oh, is it woman flu?
Just a little bit, yeah, that woman
The
flu.
woman
you
flu,
know.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
like the voice, though. It's working
know, it's
for me.
husky,
it's good,
isn't it?
yeah.
She always sounds like that.
No,
Oh, no.
normally I
That's
sound like a
awkward.
real
That's
girl. It's just now. Like now on the phone, I
No,
would
you do.
be-
You have got quite a light touch voice, haven't you?
Normally,
Usually.
not now.
In fact, I introduced you before as Little Josie. You're not actually that little, but you've got a little voice. Would that be fair to say? A sweet little voice. I'm not saying you're like a little dormouse. You're like a little borrower. A very funny little
That's
borrower.
better because that's not a pest.
No, it's not.
a helper.
It suggests. Yeah, exactly. You're going to wake up and your shoes will be mended. Was that the borrowers? Did they used to mend shoes, or was that the
Don't look at me, honey.
Probably just the steel
in general,
stuff.
or just on that?
I think you're thinking of the elves and the shoemaker.
Oh right.
Elves.
Are they different to the borrowers?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. You say they're not pests. If they're called the borrowers, they must have taken things without asking.
Well, as long as they
But they
give
give
them
them
back. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Borrowing.
Is that what it's like? You borrow something and give it back.
Basically, I'm small and I take liberties.
Yeah, stop going on about the borrowers.
So, Josie, you're going to Edinburgh, aren't you?
Yes.
And do you know when you go to Edinburgh, right? Where'd you stay? Do you stay in a nice flat? Because we were talking about glamping before. Do you know about glamping?
The glamorous camping.
Yes. Have you been?
I go camping quite a lot, and I like to think I bring in an air of glamour to everything that I do. Not in like a glamour model sense, in a like 1950s
That's
sense.
all glamour.
Yeah, but to be honest, that's not true. I just have an airbed.
Oh, I respect you for the airbed, though.
Oh my
got an
god,
airbed,
it
haven't
changes everything.
Have you got
Yeah.
an airbed that you press a button and it inflates, or do you have to do the pump with your foot?
I have to do the pump. but I enjoy that.
Do you remember the old school? You used to have to get down and blow into the thing for about 2 hours.
Oh,
remember
awful.
that?
Some
I
old
used to-
dad in a pair of Bermudas blowing into the airbed. Awful sight.
Oh, that's a horrible thought, isn't it? It's all changed now. Glamping. You get down, you inflate, and 2 hours later you've got a four-poster bed that's been inflated.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. You're going to love it.
I feel like with camping, this part of my personality comes out that's normally quite hidden, which is I'm like a marshalling boss with the tent. Like, I'm really good at putting up the tent, but on the condition that everyone listens to me. Like, I get there and like, right, you have to do this. I know this tent.
You like to do it properly.
Yeah,
and
do it
you're not one of these people where it
absolutely.
falls down in the middle of the night.
Oh, my word, no.
Because my wife, I think, sometimes worries that someone's going to come with a pair of scissors and steal the children. She has said that. And I have to keep saying to her, love, we haven't got children. And it's really awkward.
And she goes, not anymore.
Not anymore, since that person came with the scissors.
What are the scissors
And I
for?
go, look, they're 18 years old. They wanted to, perhaps the clue was that the scissors were left inside. They escaped, I say. They got out and went. But are you worried? Because there's no protection in a tent, is there? You can't, you're not going to... it's not like a house. You don't think if someone runs at a house, they fall over.
There's a small amount of protection. There's a canvas sheet.
I just realised how bad that's. If you run at a house, that's not a selling point for a house, is it? If I was an estate agent that said, yeah, it's a lovely house, if someone was to run at it really hard, they'd just fall over. Oh, I'll take two.
Seriously, I ran at this morning just to test it.
Of course, those new Barrett airs, if you run at them, you go straight through them, rubbish. Or any of the popular housemaking manufacturers that are
Well,
available on
exactly.
the market at the current time.
I sometimes feel... But I think there's something quite womb-like about being in your little canvas.
In your little tent.
You're very safe. You just think...
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? A glamorous womb. If in the womb you were...
Really?
If you had kids, Emily, that's how your womb would be. It would be full of, like,
Can you
chandeliers.
not talk about my womb?
Oh, come on.
God.
Oh, it's always the same. When we're on her, don't talk about it. When you're off her, you never shut up about it. Oh, the blooming womb again, I'll tell you. Don't get me started.
Absolute Radio.
Oh, Lee Mack here on Absolute Radio, and we've been talking about...
Well, can I just say that was Van Morrison,
yes, if you want.
and we've got...
Thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
No, but we've got a text. We've got a text.
Yeah, thanks, Tim Westwood. Anything else?
Says, can you play any... I've got a text that's really good. It says,
Well, why
can
did you want to say so adamantly that was Van Morrison?
Yeah,
Are you
well,
like
are you-
Van Morrison? Are you his agent or something?
I'm going to tell you.
You didn't even mention Van's name. He comes in, he sings live.
This is only supposed to take a second.
Oh, go on then.
Can you play any song for all the lads in Morrison's in Cheshire? Thanks, mate, Colin Walsh.
What is this, Lancashire Radio?
We don't do requests.
It was Van Morrison, and they worked in Morrison's. I couldn't pass that up.
Of course, Cheshire. Did you say Cheshire? Cheshire's not in Lancashire, is it? Cheshire's famously in Cheshire. Josie Long is with us, who's doing an Edinburgh show this year. Where are you doing your show at Edinburgh? Which venue?
It's this cave. But it is legit.
Oh.
It's not just me going, I'm having that.
For those
the
that don't
month.
go to Edinburgh regularly, you better point out that that's not just... You're not like on the fringe of the fringe. You're not just working in some...
I'm not an old bag lady.
You don't do well in sunlight, do you? So you're doing the cave,
Yeah, it's the Just the Tonic at the Caves.
just the tonic.
And it's at 7:40 p.m. if you fancy coming along.
I'll be there, as long as I have to pay. It's like...
Oh.
Well,
You don't have to... Oh, okay,
You know
okay.
that conversation we were having before about you bring your own meat to a party? I'll bring my own jokes.
You'll be standing at the back goes, okay, I have got a better one than that.
Yeah, it's not. I love your jokes, but obviously I'm like a vegetarian. I'm very specific. I've got my own dietary requirements. So as you're telling the joke, I'll be reading my own, but I'll make sure I laugh right at the right time and I look up.
Oh, that's good.
That would be good, wouldn't it?
I've brought my own, thanks.
And you're doing that, and you're staying in, and are you doing that thing where you're sharing with like 100 comedians?
I'm sharing with 2 comedians I'm really good friends...
Who are
No,
they?
3 comedians I'm really good friends with.
That was close. 2 comedians I'm really good friends with, one I can't stand.
No, and one person I don't know at all.
What you're
Can
sharing
we
with someone
say
you've
who
never
they
met?
I know.
What is this? Some sort of blind date thing?
They're
going on?
Australian, so I assume
Are they
they'll be
male or
alright.
Oh, we'll be
female?
brash.
Female. It's a lady house.
Oh, it's going to be one
All
of those
ladies,
loud
yeah.
ones.
Oh.
She's going to be loud, and
She's gonna be loud.
she'll be bleaching her hair over the sink as well.
Yeah.
Oh, it should
She's
be
going to
brash.
cause problems. She's going to come back. It's going to be her first Edinburgh. She's going to come from Australia. She's going to have a terrible time. She's going to bring the atmosphere down. And
Yeah.
Might as well kill myself now.
if you listen over in Australia, have a lovely show. What's her name?
Steph.
Steph. She's got a
Steph.
surname, or have you not worked that out yet?
I can't remember
Let's call her Steph Brisbane, right? Steph Brisbane will be on at the Edinburgh Festival, and I've heard she's fantastic.
I think she'll be really nice. But I live with Maeve Higgins, and I've been living with her for a few
Maeve?
years. Yeah, she's an Irish
I love the
comedian.
idea of Steph, Maeve and Josie. Like you've gone for the full darts team. Is there an Ethel and a Frank in there as well? Nothing wrong with Frank as a name. I'm not saying it's an old name.
Well, don't look at me like I'm his girlfriend.
I thought you were Frank. Sorry. So you're going and you're looking forward to. Are you excited or are you nervous?
I'm ambivalent. Like one day I'll be like, it's the best thing in the world. I'm gonna have the best time. And the next day I'm like, people are gonna kick me to ribbons. Is that a phrase?
That's the phrase. Yeah.
People are gonna kick.
Well, it's not. But it's a phrase you can say on this. You know.
Maybe tear.
Tear me to ribbons and then kick the ribbons.
Kick the ribbons out of you.
It's going to be like that gym where people
She's
have
talking a load of ribbons,
string.
this one. Well, you know, I think we know what ribbons means in this context, don't we?
Yeah.
I had the ribbons last night. Oh, it's a nice image, though, isn't it? But like a magician.
No.
It'd be like all coming out different colours, and you go, and now a rabbit. So you look. That's great that you do that. So are you? So are you? And also, we were talking about overhear people. You know, when people talk about you, and they overhear. Have you had an incident where you've overheard someone talking about you?
Yeah, I have. After a show recently, it was like a preview show, and I was walking out, and I happened to be behind some people who'd been there, and I thought, oh God, this is going to be awkward, because they were sort of talking, they were like, yeah, I think it was more interesting than funny, and I was like, oh. So I had to walk past, and I was like, oh, sorry, and then they were like...
Did you acknowledge that you'd heard them?
Well, I had to, because I was right next to them, and it was really, and they saw me, and they were like, and then they were like, oh no, we were talking about your show last year, and if I'd be like,
that doesn't make it any better.
And I was like, oh, right. But once I have
That's a terrible excuse. They could have at least said we were talking about somebody else.
Yeah.
We were talking
or about a book that they read.
Imagine if they'd have followed it. No, that was your show last year. This year we didn't find it interesting. Even.
But that's what I like about this time of year, is you're previewing for Edinburgh. So technically, if people hate your show, it's not like, normally if they hate your show, you're like, well, I hate you. But if they hate your show now, it's like, don't, it's preview. It's probably going to be...
Can I just say, Josie, you might have to work on your catchphrases.
Lee Mack on Absolute Radio.
You've just passed me a book, Emily, and you're reading it.
It's only my favourite book in the world.
And it's called...
It's by a very angry American woman, and it's called If You Have to Cry, Go Outside.
Oh. And what's it about?
It's like a tough love advice book. So she specifically says things like, you know, chapter 7, being spiritual doesn't necessarily mean being nice. Yeah.
She sounds lovely.
Yeah, she's great.
If you have to cry,
you like her.
If you have to cry, go outside, and things your mother never told you.
Yeah. So it's good. So she also says things like, you know, if someone's put on weight at work and they say, oh, have I put on weight? You go, yeah, you gained a few pounds. That's what you meant to say. To be honest.
She sounds like a lovely woman. And do you cry? Do you cry at work? Do you go outside?
Do you know, weirdly, well, this is why this book appealed to me. I did actually cry at work recently.
Did you? This
Here.
work?
Yes.
You call this job?
I did cry.
Did you?
Yeah.
When? It wasn't during one of my shifts, was it?
No, shifts? We're not minors. It was about 2 weeks ago. I can't remember who was here. But, yeah, I just had one of those mornings. I wasn't feeling myself, Lee. And I felt a little bit fluey and a bit sorry for myself. My makeup hadn't gone on very well. There were all sorts of reasons. So I just went, I'm not feeling very well. And Gareth, the worst thing, when he put his arm around me and said, are you all right?
Oh, I thought you were going to say slap you and say get a grip.
So it is, I'm fine. And then I cried and everyone looked quite shocked.
Did they?
And then they were so nice to me. I'm doing it again.
Was it fake tears?
I'm doing it every week. They started off real.
And you actually milked it?
Yeah.
You milked it for a bit of attention?
Yeah.
The wailing was a bit much.
Oh, you weren't killing whales again, were you?
Oh, it was. It was like Oedipus Rex in here. Some Greek tragedy.
I get like that. I get a bit weepy sometimes.
Do you?
Yeah, he cries every week.
When I worked at Tesco's, I had to go into the freezer to cry once because the boss was nasty to me.
Did you cry frozen tears? Did they freeze halfway down your face?
Yeah, it was like
I want to know about this story. You were working at
Tesco's.
What were you doing at Tesco's? Sorry, so Emily knows. Tesco's is like Waitrose, only for poor people.
Yeah, oh, shut up. I do know
I was
Tesco's.
stacking yoghurts.
You're right.
That's not a euphemism.
It wouldn't be because it doesn't mean anything sexual. That's right, Gareth. You can't say, can I borrow your pencil? That's not a euphemism. Absolutely correct. It isn't a euphemism.
That could be a euphemism.
So you were stacking yoghurts. Was that your only task in the day, the yoghurts?
Yeah, I was in the yoghurt section.
The yoghurt section.
Dairy.
So why did you cry?
He
realised he wasn't cultured enough. Oh, come on. I'm here all weekend.
I think we should stop now.
Okay, so you're stacking the yoghurts. What happened?
Why did you cry?
And he wasn't very nice to me.
Who
They're
wasn't?
horrible, the managers.
What? Well, hang on.
Well, saying I wasn't stacking them fast enough, well enough.
I'm not being rude, but I can believe
Gareth,
that.
I can believe that totally. Already, I'm getting angry with you as the manager, thinking, look at the state of the stacking of the yoghurts.
Why are you being so horrible about it?
I bet you did it all flouncy, didn't you? I bet you put them in a design that looked artistic but wasn't functional. Sorry, the producer just held up the word Richard Ashcroft, which suggests he's the next artist. I thought I was supposed to say, of course, I'll tell you can stack a yoghurt.
Absolute
Radio.
So what's happening today then, Emily? What are you doing after this?
We're going out for lunch.
Oh, are you? Where are you going? Oh,
Yeah.
me as well.
Yeah, you're coming. Last time
Bit
we had to
presumptuous
go
of you, but okay.
Last time we had to go and find a present for your wife.
That's right. Oh, she had to say it in a northern accent, like. Yeah.
No, that was a League of Gentlemen accent, wasn't it? My
And do you know
wife
what?
nowadays.
She really enjoyed
Did
that.
she like the present?
She loved that drill set.
You'd never been to Fortnum & Masons before.
I hadn't.
Oh, it was
I
like
really
taking a Victorian urchin out for the day.
It was fantastic, wasn't
if
it?
anyone's in London, don't go to the museums.
Yeah.
Go to Fortnum. They let
I have
anyone
to
in.
say,
Do
it
they
was
let anyone in?
It was like being in a film, like an American film, and how they deck out the shop.
Yeah.
Absolute pretentious nonsense.
It's lovely, though.
But it's great. It smells nice. It smells like everything.
Yeah, but
everywhere
you
you go,
went
it smells
running
like
off.
it smells like a Boots assistant in every room. You know, a Boots assistant really gives off a pungent smell.
But Lee, this is the problem with you. We were there to buy your wife perfume, and you went off saying, "Oh, let's get a globe."
Well, a
you went off to buy a globe.
Who doesn't want a globe? I've always wanted to have a huge globe that when you lift it up, inside there's martini. Do you know what I mean? Because at the moment, I've got a homemade one. I've basically got one of those big white, what they're called, what you put around lampshades. You know, the ones that you get that are like the paper ones.
Yeah.
And I've stuck countries around, and I've put a bottle of gin inside it. And then when people come round, I lean casually on it, and it just slowly concertinas down, and the gin appears like that.
So we've got you next week, have we? So I'll say,
Try and say it with a bit more positivity.
Oh, sorry.
Like you want me back. You like this with your house guests? I suppose you'll be coming around on Friday as well, will you, with your pork chops and your eggs? Yes, I'll be here next week, and I'll be bringing food. I'll be bringing my own
Sure,
food,
stuff
my
will
own
happen
drinks.
in the week for us to talk about.
There'll be bags happening. There's a
Good.
lot happening this week.
Oh.
Lots of things happening.
what, to you?
To me. So
You
I've
always
got,
just stay in that house and eat meat. You don't do anything.
yeah, but I'm going to try different meat this week. I'm going to try some exotic meats. So I'm going to try the biltong. Because biltong lasts forever. You don't have to have a fridge, and we can't afford one.
Absolute
Radio.